The value of inside linebacker play has made a triumphant return. The position's importance had cratered since the mid-2010s, but it is once again highly important to boast quality linebacker play. The Dallas Cowboys learned that the hard way last season, when their lack of presence at linebacker loomed large late in the schedule and in the playoffs. The Cowboys' 5 Super Bowls were won on the back of elite offenses, but the iconic doomsday defense and defenses from the mid-1990s were propelled by their linebackers. With that in mind, let's rank the 10 best linebackers to ever suit up for Dallas. Criteria for selection. Linebackers is a very broad position group, so this list only includes inside linebackers. In other words, don't expect DeMarcus Ware or other outside linebackers to appear. Ware and other decorated outside linebackers can be found in our ranking of the top 10 defensive linemen in Cowboys history. Individual accolades, All-Pros, Pro Bowls, DPOY, etc., factored heavily in these rankings. Individual statistics also carried weight, but tackles were not seriously tracked until the mid-1990s. Tackles are generally the go-to stat to measure linebacker play. Length of tenure and team success were also considered, but not blindly. Just because a player spent many years in Dallas or won multiple Super Bowls doesn't mean they were included. They had to be relevant during their tenure and valued contributors to a championship-winning team. The top 10 linebackers in Cowboys history. 10. D. Lewis. A 6th-round pick in 1968, Lewis is one of the longest-tenured linebackers in the history of the Cowboys. Only Leroy Jordan has appeared in more games than Lewis, who was also part of the team's first and second Super Bowl titles in 1971 and 1977, respectively. Unfortunately for Lewis, solo tackles weren't tracked until 1994 and combined tackles weren't tracked until 1978, which was 4 years before he retired. His tackle output is known, but Pro Football Reference credits him with 8 interceptions, 15.5 sacks, and 14 fumble recoveries. 9. Robert Jones. A first-round pick by the Cowboys in 1992, Jones was thrust into the middle of a defense that was expected to compete for a Super Bowl. The moment was not too big for the East Carolina product, who was the UPI Rookie of the Year and finished 4th in AP Defensive Rookie of the Year voting after he posted 108 tackles. He won a Super Bowl as a rookie and went on to win 2 more in 1993 and 1995. Jones left the Cowboys after his rookie contract expired, but in 4 short years he accumulated 334 combined tackles. 8. Brady James. Brady James doesn't get the recognition he deserves, but he was one of the team's defensive stalwarts of the 2000s. A former 4th-round pick, James paced the Cowboys in tackles for 6 straight seasons, 2005-10, and he is one of only 2 Cowboys to post more than 200 tackles in a season. He's 7th in team history with 526 solo tackles, 3rd among linebackers, and his 37 tackles for loss are also top 10. He even sprinkled in an 8-sack season in 2008 when he was snubbed from the Pro Bowl. 7. Eugene Lockhart. Drafted by the Cowboys in the 6th round of the 1984 draft, Lockhart compiled over 1,000 tackles in his career. He played on some bad. Eugene Lockhart earned the nickname Mean Eugene the Hitting Machine by registering over 1,000 tackles over his career. He was not the most decorated player, perhaps stemming from the fact he played on losing teams during his time with the Cowboys, but he did make the NFL All-Rookie team in 1984 and was a first-team All-Pro in 1989. He was a rare bright spot on some of the worst teams in Dallas Cowboys history, and he owns the club record for tackles in a single season with 222. 6. Datton Gwynn. A 3rd-round pick in 1999, Gwynn might have ranked higher if his career wasn't cut short due to chronic neck injuries. He was undersized for the linebacker position at 5'11" and 238 pounds, but you wouldn't know it. Gwynn only played 4 full seasons, but he still ranks 9th in team history with 402 solo tackles. That mark is 5th best among linebackers. He is also 4th at the position with 27 passes defended, and his 38 career tackles for loss are 8th most for the Cowboys regardless of position. 5. Sean Lee. What could have been if not for the injuries? There's an argument to be made that Lee is the best pound-for-pound linebacker in Cowboys history. He was a master of his craft and was one of the most impactful and intelligent linebackers of his generation. Lee amassed 995 tackles in his career, which is the 8th most in team history. He's credited with the most assisted tackles ever for the Cowboys, which further proves that he was always around the ball. He never played a full 16-game season, but he made 2 Pro Bowls and was a first-team All-Pro in 2016, when he finished 5th in Defensive Player of the Year voting. 4. Dexter Coakley. Coakley was drafted by the Cowboys after Dynasty ended in 1997. The team was in rebuild mode for much of Coakley's tenure, so his great play flew under the radar. As far as individual resumes go, Coakley's is right up there with some of the best linebackers in team history. A 3-time Pro Bowler in Dallas, Coakley is the Cowboys' 5th all-time leading tackler. He set a franchise record with 100 or more tackles in 7 straight seasons, and his 4 defensive touchdowns trail only Darren Bland for the most in team history. 3. Ken Norton Jr. Norton Jr. was underrated during his time in Dallas, but he was an indispensable part of a defense that won consecutive Super Bowls in 1993 and 94. He ranks 4th in team history with 579 career tackles, but he didn't play long enough with the Cowboys to feature on other rankings. Norton signed with the hated 49ers as a free agent in 1994 and became the first player ever to win 3 straight Super Bowls. He only made 1 Pro Bowl with the Cowboys, but as the clear leader of a 2-time championship defense, he absolutely deserves to claim the No. 3 spot. 2. Leroy Jordan. The 6th overall pick in 1963, Jordan was a lifetime Cowboy. Jordan formed an elite linebacker partnership with Chuck Howley, and while Howley received more recognition for how he performed in Super Bowls, Jordan was just as important to the Doomsday defense. Jordan is the Cowboys' 2nd all-time leading tackler. Furthermore, his 18 fumble recoveries are 2nd most in franchise history, and he's tied for 7th with 18 interceptions. In total, Jordan made 5 Pro Bowls, and in 1973 he was voted the NFC Defensive Player of the Year. 1. Chuck Howley. Howley had to wait a long time to earn induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Howley is renowned for intercepting 2 passes and forcing a fumble in Super Bowl V, which the Cowboys lost. He was named Super Bowl MVP and is still the only player in NFL history from the losing team to receive the honor. The next year, the Cowboys trampled the Dolphins in the Super Bowl, and Howley played a huge role with an interception and a fumble recovery. Howley is 5th in franchise history with 17 fumble recoveries and 10th in interceptions, which is a remarkable feat for a linebacker. He was a first-team All-Pro 6 times with the Cowboys and made 6 Pro Bowls. He played 13 seasons for Dallas and was a crucial part of the famed Doomsday defense.